Hello, dear students, and welcome back. This is another English lesson for the 4th graders. My name is Miranda, and I will be your English teacher for today. Our topic today is Welcome World. In today's lesson, you will be summarizing the main points from a travel brochure, and you will be writing an argumentative essay. As usual, you will need a notebook, a pen or a pencil, a device with an internet connection, and a QR code scanner if possible. And feel free to pause the video anytime you like. Are you wondering what to do after high school? Are you thinking of going to college or university? Or instead of heading straight to university, you may consider a year of work to save up for this pricey academic adventure. Volunteering or doing charity work is also an option. You should research organizations that are doing important work in the areas you care most about. And spending a significant amount of time fighting for a cause that you care about and being surrounded by professionals in the field can help give you more direction as you think about your future. This can also be the opportune time in your life to see the world. You have spent so much time learning about the foreign countries in textbooks and learning foreign languages, and now it's time to visit some of them and maybe put those foreign languages to use. And if you're not sure what to do or what to study after high school, take a gap year or a year out. Why do you want to take a year out? It's really important to set goals to make your time productive, so you need to identify what you want to achieve. You might want to have a break from study, gain new skills or experiences, earn money, spend time deciding what you want to do, travel abroad, or do a combination of the above. You are going to listen to an English student named Kate who'd had a gap year after high school before she started studying marine biology and oceanography. Before listening, try to do this image quiz and have some fun trying to recognize some famous world landmarks that will be mentioned in Kate's story. In the image quiz, each image is revealed slowly and you need to buzz in when you can answer the question or recognize the landmark. Here is the link and the QR code that will lead you to the quiz. During her year off, Kate visited a lot of cities and landmarks. While listening, try to guess where these landmarks or cities are located. Match the two columns to correctly locate the following landmarks and cities.
Gap year travel was a chance for me to finally go on those adventures I've spent years daydreaming about in the classroom. I also wanted to find out exactly what I was interested in and what I liked in order to make sure my 5 years in university would be worth the tuition. A decision like this, if done right, isn't spontaneous. I saved up £7,000 for my trip from 2 years of working as a waitress and as a part-time nanny in my neighbourhood. It also took careful planning, Googling and scheduling before takeoff. For a freshly minted graduate, the idea of setting off around the world alone was scary, and that's why I decided to travel as part of a programme. The programme helped me make the planning, preparation and travelling during the time of COVID-19 much easier to do. First, I was thinking of travelling to the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Luang Prabang, the ancient capital of Laos, where I could teach English to Buddhist novice monks and other Lao students, and learn a lot about Theravada Buddhist practices. But then I decided to use my gap year to finally get Professional Association of Diving Instructors certified, and learned to scuba dive while volunteering in marine conservation in Fiji. I learned all about coral reef ecology and conservation issues facing tropical marine organisms and the communities that depend on them. There was a possibility of seeing endangered species such as sharks, rays, humphead wrasse, and turtles while participating in the programme. While on dry land, I spent time in the Dawasamu communities, helping with environmental education and sustainable livelihood projects. During that time, I visited the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, the world's longest coral reef, and Uluru, an enormous rock 600 million years old, alone in the middle of the desert. I had the opportunity to visit Australia's major cities and many attractions, including the Sydney Opera House, whose roof looks like sails. Going to the top of the Sky Tower was a great way to discover more about Auckland, the most northern of New Zealand's major cities. I also visited Fiordland National Park in the southwest of the South Island, where land and sea meet in deep valleys. After this year out, I was ready to study marine biology and oceanography at the University of Southampton.
Here you can see the correct matching. Let's move on to the comprehension check quiz that you will find on the following link or QR code. And now it's time for Tracy's story. First, read the sentences carefully and then listen to Tracy's story and decide whether these sentences are true or false.
When I was in the final year of my high school education, our English teacher wanted to give us a pearl of wisdom by telling us that the world is our oyster. To be honest, I didn't quite understand what an oyster had got to do with the brave new world of adulthood that I was supposed to dive into after finishing my secondary education. As a matter of fact, I've never really liked oysters because they must be pried apart, and this can often be very difficult to do. At the time, I was in a world of my own and didn't pay much attention to what was happening around me. I dreamt of setting the world on fire as an artist. The truth is that I was pretty much confused and didn't know what to do after school. I got a great report card and go to any school of my choice. I wanted to study art, but my parents didn't like the idea because they wanted me to study something that will help me get a decent job. Since the art school wasn't in the city where I lived, it meant moving away from my parents. On the one hand, I wanted to leave my parents, even though I think the world of them, but I wanted to be independent and finally free because they were too strict, protecting me from the world, the flesh, and the devil as I grew up. But on the other hand, I was afraid to replace the comfort of my family home and mom's kitchen with the insecurity of rented apartments and food in the student cafeteria. Since I couldn't have the best of both worlds, I opted for a more convenient choice. I decided to stay at home and study law, something I never really liked, but I thought that the choice of your profession was not something you really need to think deeply about before you decide upon it. Now I know that it is important to decide carefully about your future profession because the right choice makes a world of difference. Instead of having the world at my feet, I chose to watch the world go by. I wasn't happy, and I kept complaining about my life, and I would use any opportunity to feel sorry for myself, which made me really hard to be around. As they say, laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. I left the course after 2 years because with the best will in the world, I couldn't imagine myself practicing law for the rest of my life. I decided to pursue my dream and applied again to art school. I was on top of the world when I got a full scholarship to the college I really wanted to attend. I had to move to another town, and in comparison with this new town, my hometown was the armpit of the world. After finishing at the top of my class in college, I got a great job in an art gallery. I had the world by the tail with a downhill drag. 3 years later, I met my husband, Pete. He was out of this world. I immediately fell in love with him, and we got married a year later. He was a lawyer, yet we weren't worlds apart. In 2006, I decided to open my own gallery, and I borrowed $50,000 to do it. Unfortunately, the bottom fell out of my world when the Great Recession happened. It was the most severe financial crisis since the Great Depression, and it wreaked havoc in financial markets around the world. The gallery wasn't doing well, and I had a loan to pay back to the bank. It was a difficult period. I struggled a lot and felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Fortunately, my gallery managed to survive with my husband's support. He did me a world of good. My gallery is very successful today, and I feel again like I have the world on a string. Do I have any advice? I do. When you have to choose either your future career or your husband or wife, choose with your heart. Love is important because it makes the world go round. And as for your future career, you should definitely follow your dreams, even if it means going to the ends of the world. And to look back to the oyster from the beginning of the story, it's true. It can be difficult to open, especially as the size of the oyster increases. But as the size of the oyster increases, so does the chance that any pearl contained therein will be larger. In any given oyster, there is a chance, but no guarantee, that a pearl lays within. The same is with life. Every oyster one picks up may hold a pearl, but most don't. Finding a pearl requires either opening a lot of oysters or having good luck. Either will work. If you don't take risks opening the oyster, you will never know whether there is a pearl inside or not.
Now we can check the answers together. I'm sure you've done it correctly. Listen again if necessary and find one word which is appropriate for all the gaps in each of the following phrases and idioms. As you can see, the missing word is the world. In Tracy's story, there were a lot of idioms with the word world. Did you guess their meanings? Let's check. Here you can see 2 links and 2 QR codes with match-up exercises. Type the links in the internet browser or scan the QR codes and do the exercises. Practice makes perfect. So let's take a quiz with idioms. Pause the video, type the link in the internet browser or scan the QR code and keep practicing the idioms. This is your first task for today. Let's read it together. A young couple from Norway has decided to travel to Croatia this summer for a week. They came across a travel brochure with a lot of interesting places to visit, but the brochure is in Croatian and that's why they need your help. They're asking you to help them plan their trip to Croatia and choose 5 top tourist attractions they must see while they're staying there. They are backpackers who are very flexible in their plans and they would like to get the most of their holiday. You should read the travel brochure on the following link or QR code and share the relevant information with your friends in order to help them decide which places they will visit. Give reasons for your choice. Adapt the content, bearing in mind cultural differences, paraphrase effectively in order to simplify the message for the recipients, and use formal language appropriate for the situation and the recipients. You should speak 2 to 3 minutes. Record a voice message and send it to your friends over the phone. Here is a checklist that should help you complete the task successfully. Your second task for today is an argumentative essay of 200 to 250 words. This is the essay prompt. Read it carefully. And this is a quick overview of the essay format. I'm sure that you're familiar with it. And here is a rubric to guide you through the task. Read it carefully and follow the guidelines. When you finish, send your essay to your teacher for feedback. We have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you for your attention and good luck in your future endeavors.